moments. Moments. Life is made out of lots and lots and lots of little moments. And if we can learn to enjoy every little moment to its fullest, maybe life would be a little bit more manageable. Because we all have different kind of challenges. I haven't met someone who's never had a challenge, or if he or she hasn't, will not have a challenge. This whole life is, as we talked about in a different video, a journey, a boat journey, a journey on the sea, lots of ups and downs in the waves. And it can be described, our life, as a journey on the ocean in a little boat which has lots of ups and downs, and we should expect that. And if we expect that, it may be a little bit more manageable, because then we wouldn't be shocked every time that there is a big wave coming or we are off balance and things happen, because we all have things that we are concerned about. Now, among many emails that I have received and receive on a daily basis, I have chosen this particular email that comes from one of our subscribers, one of our friends, young friends around the world. His name is Alex. Alex explains that he met a young lady and they got to know each other, and they used to meet in a coffee shop for a month or two, every day almost, discussing things, studying together, and getting to know each other. And they fell in love, and so it became serious. And Alex has this particular different characteristics of his blood called some kind of a different shape of the blood cells, and that particular challenge, when they want to have an offspring, people who have this kind of a challenge in their blood system, if both parents have the same problem, then the child will have, possibly, will have the same problem. And if not, there is a chance that the child will be fine, but the child could be carrier of this particular gene to his or her own offspring. So I read on it, Alex, a little bit to familiarize myself. And as you said, good thing that there are lots of new ways to treat this, and as you said, the gene sequencing and all the other options that I've come up with. And I guess every one of us have some kind of a challenge that we are trying to master or grapple with in this life. And as I'm sure everybody else, we all hope and wish that everyone's challenge would be manageable, and hopefully through the advance of the medicine and so on, and your adaptability of your own genes, things become better and better. Alex says that he discussed this particular way that his blood is with his girlfriend at the time. And the girlfriend eventually, was concerned and wasn't concerned, and they were going to get married supposedly in the future, or they were serious. And she was always trying to be, kind, or showed lots of interest, and then sometimes she was so cold, and she had ups and downs just like the waves, ups and down. And I guess she didn't know what she wants to do. Should she go through with it, or should she go for someone who doesn't have this challenge, and so on and so forth. All probably these were in her mind too. And Alex is wondering, why is it that suddenly she got married with someone else while all through she looked like that there is no issues, and looked like they will be together, and they were going to sort it out and work together on it. And Alex is rather, of course, disappointed, and rightfully so, and he's thinking why, and that he misses her sometimes, while he knows that obviously she doesn't deserve to be missed, as Alex puts it. And he wants to know why she got married, and he wants to know why suddenly this, and why she lied or pretended that everything's okay, and all these moved up and down. So, okay. I think in order for us to discuss this fairly, we should rely back on our consciousness again. And within our consciousness, depending on, or pretty much not depending on where we are born and raised, there's always element of selfishness in there. Self-preservation, selfishness, and our propensity towards being perfect or wanting to be perfect, which none of us are, by the way. None of us. I haven't seen anyone perfect in any kind of shape or form. Me or anybody else. We all have our own stuff, or have had it, or having it, or will have it, or So again, life is about moments. So any moment that is good, and the other moment there's no guarantee for it. Even if someone is absolutely perfect in health, there's no guarantee tomorrow what will be. So the ones who actually jump ship from this and that, they're just trying to satisfy what has been programmed in their consciousness. As we were talking just a minute ago, this selfishness is part of the consciousness that has been put in the program in us through all these thousands of years of programming, and what we see from the society and TV and parents and friends and all the other things that we go through, school and teachers and siblings or whatever. So selfishness is actually has gone in there, ego, selfishness, and fear and all that. So people try to satisfy themselves or stay away from things that may interfere with what is in their mind best thing for them. So because they're always looking for what's best for me, as much as kind as they may be, but there's always that what's best for me, how can I protect myself, or all these things. So they make their decisions sometimes on those bases. So we can't really be too devastated or too concerned about why she did what she did, Alex, because again, selfishness, self-preservation, self-concern, and all that, or thinking that okay, the only problem in life is that if she would have to deal with a similar kind of challenge that you're having, or the children might do that, or any limitation or whatnot. So okay, fine. That's something that it's everyone's right to be concerned about. But why did she lie and pretend it? That's what we can talk about. But the one that I want to focus about is not about why she did what she did. People do for many things for many reasons. Their own shortcoming, their own fears, their own inabilities, their own disabilities, their own lack of understanding what life is all about, their own inability to deal with challenges and think that the challenges are only what they can see, and there's no challenges in the future. So as long as they stay away from the ones that they can see and are aware of it, then there would be no challenges. So they just run away, and they hope that where they're going to land, there would be no particular challenges. Who knows? God forbid, maybe the person that she's married to, I don't know, they will have healthy children, or they will have some kind of different challenge for the children. So many people that I know, that they've been very healthy and sportish and all around, and their child happened to have to be challenged and fight with some disease that was 1 in a million. no way to imagine that, And so there is no telling my own child, my own son. And of course, thank God, and he battled it, and all that, and chemotherapy and all that, so forth. Some kind of a challenge, and we all have any kind and different kind of challenge, even though we're all maybe healthy. So what she's done is something that she, out of fear, and that's what she's done. Now, but what you actually did is the one that we should question. Why? Because you presented yourself to her as someone who has a problem. You created a certain kind of a notion in her mind that you have a certain problem. And that she started thinking from the way you presented yourself, as if there's something wrong with you. Of course, you were forthcoming and very, honest, and that's very commendable. But perhaps you, in your own mind, have a thinking of that you're handicapped of some kind, of some sort. Because if you create that kind of a mentality or presentations to someone, then that someone starts treating you as if you're less than her. And you went on the premise that because you have a certain blood challenge, therefore that is the whole of you. That is what represents you. That is what is representing your whole talents, humanity, abilities, personality, who you are, what you are, is all condensed into that. And if you think of yourself that way, then she's going to think of you that way, because we all are gravitated towards someone who we think is better than us. Now, if someone that I think is better than me, or for one reason that I'm attracted to her, and she start telling me about her problems, that's fine. But if she start somehow to think of herself, of himself, I'm sorry, of herself, not himself. If she starts thinking of herself a little bit, having some kind of a deficiency in her own mind, then who am I not to think the same way? I may start questioning, is she right for me? Because she seems to think that she's not good enough for me. And my ego may get into position and say, I'm too good. I don't have that problem. And I forget about the problems that I may be having. And I just focus on her, because we seem to be programmed to want to be dominating, want to be, I'm better than you type of thing. Some of us still do. And she presenting herself that way, that doesn't help me to not think I'm better than her. And that's the worst thing she wants to do. Telling me what is wrong with her or what is her challenge, that's one thing. Telling her what is wrong with me or what my challenge is, that's one thing. But if I want to make her think that I'm not good enough or there's something wrong with me more than the challenge that everybody has, one kind of a challenge, one kind or another challenge, then that's not really the right way to introduce myself, is it? So this is what you did. And in her mind, you became an inferior mate. And women, mostly women, like birds, like animals, they're looking for someone who represents stronger than she is, the provider. And when you keep talking about a problem and make the problem or challenge bigger than what it is, or detrimental to the whole thing, I don't know if this is what you've done, but it seems to me that you were so honest and concerned about it that perhaps you gave her that feeling that there's, something like the whole thing is just she's doing you a favor to be with you. I mean, that's eventually perhaps worked out. So if you create a challenge to look like it's bigger than what it is, then they will follow your lead. And they will think that this person cannot provide for me, or cannot, you know, build a nest. You know, that's how the birds, you know, some birds, they all make nests, and whoever's nest is more organized, and they stand in front of it, and you know, the ladybird will choose whichever house is better. I mean, Jesus, it looks like real estate has been important to all women from all the species, all through the history. And it's like today, boys stand with their cars and lean on their cars and hope to catch a girl. Birds do it with the house. They're a little bit more advanced, you know. So what you did, you really didn't understand what you're all about. So you represented yourself as a fragment of who you are. And you focused on a certain challenge that you had, and you presented that fragmentation of the whole of you as the whole of you. And she thought this is what you are. Look, you focused on the physical being of yours, and she focused on the physical being of yours, rather than understanding that no relationship gets anywhere, no bonding takes place, no family is built on physical being alone. Physical being is something, just nothing but an image, which the image through the day, purposely or unpurposely, changes all the time. Just imagine how much time you spend in front of the mirror every morning just to make sure this hair is exactly as it is, because you're all about, if I'm looking this way or not looking this way, they may or may not pay attention to me. So my hair should be, I mean, of course I don't have much hair now, but I did at one time. I used to spend 1 hour at least, just dry my hair, you know, make it nice. And when I used to go horseback riding, I used to train and do show jumping, and of course I had lots of hair. I was very young, you know, my 17 years old, or 16, 17, 18. And so I would, you know, comb it and dry it and style it and so on. And then I would go horsebacking, and I didn't want to put my helmet on because it would just mess up the whole thing. And I just did it so maybe, you know, maybe I'll look presentable. A couple of girls may like it, you know, all this that goes through our hair. So we all are concerned and aware of that image. And we think that image is actually what's going to bond or bring or create any kind of an interest. And that interest, if it does create men or women, it's momentary. As soon as you guys start talking, then you know, regardless of how you look and how your hair looks, how you're what, you will see if you're meant for each other, you can tolerate each other or not. I remember there was this girl that I thought she's probably the most beautiful thing was ever given birth on this world. She was so beautiful that it was just like jaw-dropping. But of course, you know, she was working in the same industry as I was, but because she was married, I never made any attempt of any kind, rather than just being cordial and as a colleague whenever I had clients that she happened to be hosting whatever the office was that we were in, and it was just hello, and it was just a regular business chit chat. A few years passed, and one day she said, you know, that she's divorced. And of course, what can I say? I said, I'm so sorry. But then again, the inner monologue was a little bit different. And so we got a friend afterwards, a little after, and then we decided to go out. So I invited her out. And I just thought this girl is just the most beautiful thing, one of the most beautiful things that I'd ever seen. Perfection to the T. Is there any T in perfection? No. Perfection to the P. So we went out. In fact, what happened was she saw me somewhere sitting, and I was attending to my son playing, and I was reading my book, and she walked up, and you know, we chatted, and she said, "Look, I want to give you my phone number now." I said, "Fine, great." So anyhow, we called, and we went out. We went out to a nice restaurant. It was many years ago, many years. And first two sentences out of her mouth, that queen of the beauty that I thought is the heaven and earth's production of perfection, I had no more interest. It's totally gone. Zilch. We were supposed to have dinner and go to a movie, and we did have dinner, and we did go to a movie. And usually, after an outing, if it's called for, if she's, positive about it, give a little kiss on the cheek, a thank you for the date, and that's the end of it. I didn't even feel like doing that. And that was the girl that for years I thought she's the most beautiful thing. So the moral of this story is that it is not the physical beauty that is going to land any relationship, that's going to help hold any relationship. It is really what's inside, what's the meat of the consciousness of the two, the quality of conversation, the quality of mentality, the things they can share and bind with. So, you, however, seems to think that it was your physical ability or disability that is going to be positive or negative for building a relationship. And that's what you transferred to her. And she started thinking the same way you did. And she started thinking that there's something wrong with you, which there is nothing wrong with you. There is absolutely nothing wrong with you. Well, people have different kind of problems, and that is your problem. That is the card that you've been dealt with, and you're dealing with it. And good for you, kudos for you. But you shouldn't be considering that the image, whether it's a physical that is being seen, a deformation of some kind, or whether it's in the cells part, these are all physical entities. That what really runs this whole thing, what really creates a relationship, it's how the hearts, how the emotions, how the logics of the consciousness, how the contents and the fragments of our consciousness can meet and tolerate each other, understand each other, and find things in common. And you didn't focus on that. So the problem really is you, not her. Of course, forget about her. She has her own problem. I'm sure we all know that. Otherwise, nobody would make such poor judgment of keep going with someone and talking about it and suddenly making such a leap. It's just a silly immaturity, and you shouldn't be sorry about that. You shouldn't be even thinking about it, because that was your lucky day that you found out now instead of, some other, mishmash or discrepancy later on to be found. So I consider it, you should celebrate and should be happy that you found this out, and you should not be missing her at all, because you represented yourself in a different way, that she felt strong. She felt strong for no reason, and you felt weak or showed yourself weak for no reason. So I'm asking you to consider that next time when you meet a girl, don't focus on her image or your image, external or internal challenges that you might be having or she might be having. Focus on who you are, and you seem to be a wonderful person, educated and wise and strong, and stronger than many people that I know, I bet you. You think it's easy to accomplish what you've accomplished, challenges they've taken, in light of the challenge that you're having every day? That girl should come and kiss your feet, because she missed out on something very wonderful and strong. And that strength, the inner strength, is what builds a life, builds a nest, provides. Not the physical ability and the fact that you do or don't have a challenge of the sort that you do. So it's her loss, and I don't think you should sleep 1 minute over that, and just be jubilant and fill the vacuum. There's lots of space, you said, now created. Well, fill the vacuum. There's so many people out there. You're a wonderful guy. Go with friends, socialize, find new friends, and build some other relationship and friendship with somebody else. And know who you are, and don't represent yourself any shorter or less than what you are, because they're not going to understand that you're being humble. They think that they're better. So on that note, please feel good. You're strong, you're great, and everything about you is going to be even better and better with all the advancements of the medicine and all that. You shouldn't be really too concerned about it. Just find someone who's got the vision, understanding, and is interested in quality of life, not some image or shallow image of something which they want to base the structure of their life on it, which would naturally crumble. Because for building a good structure, you have to have a good foundation. And you, as far as I'm seeing, represent a good foundation. So treat yourself right and know the truth about yourself and go on such information about yourself when you have an interaction and introduction and relationship with others. Have a nice evening or day wherever you are, and take good care of yourself.